So before I get into today's sermon, you know how you're not supposed to say, I told you so? Okay, and I'm not going to say I told you so, but I'm going to ask you, did I tell you so? Last night, it happens every year on Thursday night before Holy Week. It happens every year as I see someone for the first time say, hey, we missed you all week, and every time the person tells me the same thing. I wish I had listened to you and taken the week off of work. I wish I had listened to you and taken the week off of work. So I'm not going to say I told you so, because I don't want to say I told you so, because we're in the church and it's Good Friday, and I shouldn't say I told you so. But I'm going to ask you, those who took the week off, did you regret it? Did anybody take the week off and regret it? Like right now, truly when we're in church, we're in the house of God, we're in the kingdom of heaven, because time is weird. Time doesn't work. Somehow, Lazarus Saturday was less than a week ago. It seems both a million years ago, and it also seems like it's been 10 minutes since it happened. I don't understand how it happened. But that's how it is when you're here in the house of God, because we're outside of time here. So all I'm saying is every year is the exact same conversation. Every year I stand at the beginning of Lent and say, every year take off the Holy Week, and I don't want to make anybody feel, and I always feel bad. I'm like, I don't want to make anybody feel guilty, but I think it's a good idea. And now I'm not trying to make anybody feel guilty, but I'm just trying to ask you, if anybody took off the week and regretted it, let me know. I said I'd buy you lunch, so come let me know. One of us will buy you lunch. We won't say which one, okay? One of us will buy you lunch. But for those who say to themselves every year, it's like, okay, it's Good Friday, and I just showed up, and it's like, yeah, this is what people tell me. I've heard this before too, is I always feel like I'm coming in the middle of a story. If you show up on Good Friday, you feel like you're coming at the end of the movie, okay? Or even Thursday, to be honest. You feel like you're coming at the end of the movie, and like it's nice, and there's nice scenes, but you didn't get the whole thing. So I don't ever believe in phones in church. I don't ever believe in phones in church. But the one time I allow phones in church is right now. Is send yourself an email. You know how you can do like send later? You send yourself an email on January 1st and say, take the week off of Holy Week. You can do that right now, okay? You can do the send later if you want, or the snooze if you want. Say, and you can subject it, you dummy. Okay, that should be the subject. You dummy, take the week off of work, okay? And figure out when Holy Week is. I don't know when it'll be, but it'll be after January 1st sometime. Sermon. Open up your Pascha book to the very first reading that we read this morning. The very first reading that we read this morning. First hour of Good Friday, very first prophecy. First hour of Good Friday, first prophecy. It's from Deuteronomy chapter 5, 8, and 9. It's kind of scattered in those chapters. And basically, the people of Israel are about to cross over. So they were slaves in Egypt, freed through the Red Sea. But then after that, they didn't go enter the promised land right away. They spent 40 years in the wilderness, and there was all kinds of problems over there and complaining. But now they finally get to the end of those 40 years, and they're about to enter into the promised land, which is the reason that the Passover from the start. Like the Passover wasn't to get to the wilderness. The Passover was to get to the promised land, but the wilderness was just like a kind of a transit place. They're about to cross over into the Jordan, and Moses is giving them some like reminder, shall we say. Look what it says right here. Okay, I'm in like the third or fourth line. Hear, O Israel, you are to cross over the Jordan today and go and inherit nations greater and mightier than yourself. Cities great and fortified up to heaven, a people great, large and tall, the sons of Anak, whom you know, and then whom it is said, who can stand against the face of the sons of Anak. So this is the first thing we read today. Why are we reading this today? Like logic. This fits. Why? Why are we reading today about a group of people who's about to pass over, cross over into a new land and experience new things? Because that's what Good Friday is. Good Friday for us is the day that Jesus says, I'm taking you out of here and I'm putting you over here. You're entering into the promised land through my death. Death, the final enemy, because it says the big enemies, that no one can stand before those enemies, they're about to be destroyed. You're about to have great victory. So it seems like this is going to be a good prophecy. It's going to start us to stay on a good prophecy. And then look what it says. A couple lines down. Do not say in your heart, Okay, so the verse before that said, let's go. He will destroy them and turn them from your face, and you will destroy them as the Lord said to you. Victory, destruction of the bad guys. But then look what it says. Do not say in your heart, after the Lord your God consumes these nations before you, saying, because of my righteousness, the Lord brought me to inherit this good land. So he says, you're about to have something good, but don't think it's because you're good. You're about to have something good, but don't think it's because you're good. And the rest of the passage is telling them how not good they are. Like, watch the rest of the passage. Okay? It is not because, so he said it one time, not because of my righteousness the Lord has brought me to inherit this good land, but because of the ungodliness of these nations, the Lord will destroy them before your face. That's one. Two, it is, again, not because of your righteousness or the upright of your heart that you are going to inherit their land, but because of the ungodliness of these nations. That's not a typo. Okay? That's not like they copied and pasted the same line twice. He repeats it again. The Lord will destroy them before your face, that he may establish his covenant that he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Thus you will know today, again, the Lord your God is not giving you this good land to inherit because of your righteousness. 3 times. It says, I'm going to give you good, but not because you're good. 3 times. And then it starts to kind of insult them. For you are a stiff-necked people. Remember, do not forget how you provoked the Lord your God to wrath in the desert. From the day you came out of Egypt until you came into this land, you continued being disobedient to the Lord. Also in Horeb. Now he's going to go through a list of how ungood they are. He's going to tell them all these things about how bad they are. You provoked the Lord. The Lord was angry enough with you to destroy you. But I, Moses, I'm the one who went up to the mountain. I got the tablets, and basically I interceded for you because God was not a big fan of what y'all were doing. And he goes on, and he goes on, and he goes on. All right, scroll down to the middle. Furthermore, the Lord spoke to me saying, I told you once and twice, I see this people. Indeed, they are stiff-necked people. Let me destroy them. God is asking Moses, just let me pull the trigger. Just come on. Like, enough with these people. Just let me do it. Let me destroy them and blot out their name from under heaven, and I will make of you a great nation, a nation greater and stronger than they are. So I turned and came down from the mountain burned with fire. Okay, and he just keeps on going. Like, we don't need to go anymore. But you get the gist of it. That's a strange way to start the day. What God is saying to us today, which actually has been fitting with my message all week that I've been sharing, so it's not going to be a surprise if we've been talking about all week, at least for me. The message for today from the very morning was, I love you. Not because you're good, though, but because I'm good. And I love every person. And there's nothing you can do to make me stop loving you. Believe me, you've tried. You've tried. You've stiff-necked, you've provoked, you've angered, you've complained, and you've tried. But nothing can make me stop loving you. Because, I've said this before, God doesn't, actually, I said an incorrect statement. It's incorrect to say God loves. Okay, God does not love. God is love. What's the difference? To say God loves, like we as human beings love. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love you. I love air conditioning. Okay, like, I love. It's a choice. I see an object in front of me, and I evaluate the object. Yes, I will love that. And then another object, I will love that. Another object, I'm not going to love that. It's a choice. We direct it, and some people are very loving. They love 90% of the objects. And some people are very loving. They love 95% of the objects. But God doesn't choose to love. God is love. God is love means like the sun in the sky. Means it just shines. It doesn't choose to shine. Like right now, it's choosing to say, thank you, sun, for the light. And then later it's going to go away, and we'll say, oh, the sun is angry at us. It didn't shine. No. The sun always shines. It doesn't know how to do anything else but shine. Now, sometimes you can hide, okay? You can, you know what I mean? Like you do like this. The sun didn't go anywhere. I may be in darkness, but the sun didn't go anywhere. That's the way God is. God is love. Now, here's the important part that I want to talk about today. God's love is for who? God's love is for every single person. And every single person, kind of recap the week, at least my week. Every single person is the throne of God. Talked about that on Tuesday. Every single person made in the image of God is the throne of God. Every single person, Jesus washes their feet. Talked about that yesterday. Every single person, Jesus washes their feet no matter how dirty they are. And today, same message. Jesus carried his cross. Who he carried his cross for? Every single person. Let's go through some of the people that Jesus carried the cross for today. And for all of the people, I got 5 right here, just characters that we've seen today. For every single one of them, They're the throne of God. Jesus washes their feet, and he carries the cross for them. Let's start with Pilate. Let's go straight to the top of the org chart. Let's go to Pilate. One word to describe Pilate would be what? We can come up a word for each of these people. Give me a word. Coward. He's the ultimate coward. He's the ultimate coward, because he knew 100%. Right is this: the guy's innocent. The guy's innocent. The guy did nothing wrong. And I am the only person here who has the power to make that right. And he had all power in his hand. If he'd have said it, nobody would have said anything. They couldn't do anything against Pilate. He had all power. He chose not to do it. He was a coward. Who's Pilate? Pilate is the person who's hurt you out of cowardice. Or maybe we can change cowardice out of ignorance. There's people that have hurt us. People that have seen us in need and turned a blind eye. People that weren't there for us, and maybe they love us, or they say they love us and they didn't mean to hurt us, but they hurt us. And I'm saying for those people, they're the throne of God. Jesus washes their feet, and Jesus carries the cross for them. Let's go to Herod. Who's Herod? Herod is one that you remember. He said, oh, I want to see Jesus, because I heard this guy does miracles. So Herod wanted some entertainment. He wanted to use Jesus for his own personal gain. I would say Herod, he's a mocker. Herod is someone who's a mocker. Herod is the guy that doesn't make you feel good, makes you feel bad about yourself. He looks for opportunities to point out your faults. He makes you feel bad about yourself because probably he feels bad about himself. But he is the throne of God. Jesus washes his feet, and Jesus carried the cross for him. How about another group of people that's mentioned many times in the gospel? The chief priests and the elders. The chief priests and the elders. The chief priests and the elders. These are the hypocrites. These are the sneaky. These are the manipulative. These are the people that look you in the eye and say one thing, but then behind your back do something else. This is the person who called for the secret meeting with your boss that you weren't invited to. And you don't know what took place in there, but you know what took place in there. These are the people that say nice, flattering words, but they stab you right in the back. These are the people who on the outside, I put the word I wrote down here is two-faced. These are the people who look very good on the outside. Everyone says, oh, they're so nice. Oh, they're so good. Do you know what the chief priests and the elders, just to see the hypocrisy and the I won't say anything worse than that. Okay, we'll just say hypocrisy. They're killing Jesus. And then all of a sudden Judas said, return the money. I don't want the money. They said, no, it's against our law to keep the money. We can't keep the 3 nickels, okay? We don't want to break the law. The law says you're killing the guy, innocent guy, but we can't break the law. And then also, if you were paying attention, when they went to meet Pilate, Pilate said, okay, come on in. What do you want to talk about? He said, no, we can't enter in there. We can't cross there because then we'd be unclean. You kill an innocent man doesn't make you unclean. You're not worried about that. But you got to make sure that you dot the I's and cross the T's. That's the hypocrite. You hate them. They drive you crazy. The sneaky, the manipulative, the two-faced. That's the throne of God. God dwells inside them. Jesus washes their feet, carried the cross for them. Barabbas. Barabbas is great. Barabbas is great. Barabbas, what I wrote down here, he's a true thief. You know why he's a thief? Because everything that Jesus was accused of doing, he actually did. Jesus was accused of leading a revolt. Barabbas did lead a revolt. Jesus was accused of sedition. This guy did the sedition. And all of a sudden, the two switch places. So here I am innocent, and Barabbas is the guy who stole what is mine. I should go free. He should be punished, I should go free. He should be fired, I should be promoted. He should get in trouble, I should not get in trouble. Barabbas is that guy. And even though Barabbas knew the truth, and he didn't open his mouth, he didn't say anything, the guy who stole what is yours is the throne of God. Jesus washed his feet and carried his cross for him. And then finally, let's go for the soldiers, the Roman soldiers. Who were they? They're the bullies. They're the mean people. They're cruel. They're the people who have the weapons, and they have the power, so they sit there and mock and beat and ridicule. And despite them being the meanest people on the planet, the cruelest people on the planet, the worst people on the planet, throne of God, washed their feet, carried the cross. And in fact, go to the third hour of this morning, the third hour. And I want to show you a prophecy that talks specifically about those Roman soldiers. Go to the third hour. And we're going to go to the prophecy from Amos. I think it's the last prophecy of the third hour. No, Job, not Amos. Last prophecy of the third hour. Okay, then go to the very end of it. Or not very end, somewhere in the middle. Okay? See where it says, but now they laugh me to scorn. You see that part? But now they laugh me to scorn. You see that? This is important. You need to know this because if you're ever looking for a good biblical insult, watch this, okay? But now they laugh me to scorn, men younger than I, whose fathers I disdained, whom I did not deem worthy to be put with the dogs of my pastures. You want to insult somebody? Say, you're younger than me. Your father I disdained, meaning I made fun of him when he was younger than me too. I used to ridicule him. And you're not even worthy to be put with the dogs of my pasture. That's the Roman soldiers, the lowest of the low scum. But I got bad news for you. If they are made in the image of God, they are the throne of God. Jesus washes their feet, and he carried the cross for their sake. Last night, if you were paying attention in the readings in the last speech of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, last words of a dying Savior, was about what? It was not about go win this one for the Gipper. It wasn't like go vindicate me. It wasn't like, what was it? What was his message? Bad stuff is about to happen tomorrow. Everyone's against me. Everyone's against you. But a new command I give to you. And that command is what? Love. But you say to yourself, why is love a new command? Did you ever wonder that? Why is it a new command? Haven't we been commanded to love before? Why is love a new command? It's a new command. Why? Huh? The key is the second part. Love what? Love? Love one another as I have loved you. So the first command was love your neighbor as yourself. The second command was love your enemy. The new command that I give you is 1 + 2 + infinity. Love as I have loved you. You say, Jesus is telling us a bunch of bad stuff's about to happen. Cowards, you're going to see cowards. You're going to see hypocrites. You're going to see bullies. You're going to see people who are thieves. You're going to see all kinds of stuff. And I'm telling you now, my last words for you is you go out there and for my sake, you make it all worthwhile by doing what? Loving them. Loving them. Sometimes people come to me in confession and say, I can't love this person. And I'm not trying to make anybody feel guilty. I have to give you the right answer. Sometimes we as priests, we give you the right answer. We're not saying we can do it, but we know the right answer, so we have to say the right answer. Okay, when we're especially in sacrament of confession, it's not us speaking. It's not like me saying, don't worry about it, it's not a big deal. Okay, we have to say what's right, even if we struggle with it. So I'm not saying we're perfect at it. But here's the truth. Sorry to say, if you struggle to love someone because they are difficult or they are annoying or they are whatever, if you struggle to love someone, sorry, that's a problem with you, not with them. That's a problem with you, not with them. Because Jesus loved them. And Jesus commanded us to love them. So if I can't love you, you are mean, you are difficult, you are wrong, you voted for him, you didn't vote for him, you believe this, you raised your kids this way, your kid did this to my kid, you ignored, whatever. If I can't love you, that's a problem with me, not with you. That's not that you need to fix something. Like, fix yourself so I can love you, so I can fulfill this command. Nah, the command is to love the people who's not fixed. Yesterday, we were in Leesburg last night, and someone came to me in Leesburg and said, they asked me, you're going to be here on Good Friday? I said, no, I'll be in Arlington. They said, and they were reminiscing. They said, you gave this sermon on Good Friday. And they said a sermon I gave like 15 years ago. Okay, I didn't even remember any details of it, but this person was describing it in detail. And in the Good Friday sermon, I started the sermon by showing this little video clip, okay? And in the video clip, of course, the video is much better than, but I'll just, okay. It was basically a man had a son, and he was a train conductor, or not a the guy who pulls the switch on the train thing, okay? Like, here's the train, like you pull the switch. And he had a son, and they loved the son, or whatever it is. And then one day, the train is coming full of people. And then there was a malfunction in the train, the thing. So the son, it was like a little 4 or 5-year-old little guy, he wanted to like help. He saw it before his dad, so he said, Dad, I'm going to go fix it. And he goes to fix it, and he falls inside the chute thing underneath the train tracks. And now all of a sudden you got this train coming, and it's about to go into the ocean or into a building or a mountain. I don't remember where it was. And the only way to fix it was for the father to close the thing. But if he fixed it and saved those people's lives, what would happen? His son would be killed. Okay, and that was a picture of the sacrifice of God the Father, okay, because he allowed his son to die in order to save other people. My beautiful daughter asked me, said, if that was me, Dad, what would you do? Wait till you hear my response. My response was, is your room clean or not? And then I thought a little bit more about my answer. Of course, no one knows what they would do, but what I was thinking to myself, sorry, I'd be okay. Where's my wife? She's going to kill me, I'm about to say, okay. I would be okay with the sacrifice of my child on one condition. On one condition. That the people in the train have to know. The people in the train have to know. And that was, that again, in the video, which I'm not showing you, but the worst part of it was the father made the decision to sacrifice the son. And as the train was going by, he was, of course, wrenching. I don't know if that's the right word, but you know what I'm saying, like, ugh. And the people in the train was what? One guy was smoking. One guy was in the bathroom, like, shooting up, like, drugs, something like that. Another person was pickpocketing someone else. And just oblivious about what just happened. And I said to myself, I would be okay with the sacrifice, but the people have to know it. The people have to know it. And the people, it has to change the way the people live. Because if it doesn't, then it's not worth it. And I'm not saying that's what God would say, but I'm saying me as a human, that's what I would say. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, Jesus carried the cross for my sake. Jesus walked to his own death for my sake. He's okay making the sacrifice, but he wants us to know it. And he wants it to make a difference in how we approach the rest of our life. We don't want Holy Week to just come and go, do we? Like, it's the same thing we say every year. We don't want Holy Week just to come and go. Just for the sake of the time that we spent in church. I told you, I did the math. We spend 51 hours. If you spend all week in church with us, you spend 51 hours. The average American goes to church for 1 hour a week. So we spend 51 hours in 1 week. That's more, and then the average American probably misses more than 1 hour at church. Not the average Orthodox 1 hour a week. Okay, for us, that's coffee hour for us, okay? That ain't nothing, okay? That's 1 hour in the parking lot after church, right? But for the sake of all the time that we spent here in the church, for the sake of all the matanyas that we did, for the sake of the torture we did to our stomachs with the food that we ate and that stuff, for the sake of all that, we don't want the week to come and go, and that's it. How do you make Holy Week continue? I think it comes down to love. Because that's what Jesus said. He said, I'm done. The week is over. But I'm going to show you one more time what I'm doing for your sake. And then like we said yesterday, I'm going to give you something in your pocket. You carry it within you in your pocket. And that is the command to do the same. Because every single person out there, all these people that I listed and all the people that hurt you, every single one of them is made in the image of God. Their heart is the throne of God. Jesus washes their feet and he carries the cross for them. So because I want this message to stick, let's do a little repeat after me. Today, Jesus carried the cross for my sake. It's Good Friday, people. Today, Jesus carried the cross for my sake.
Today, Jesus carried the cross for my sake.
I will carry my cross for others. I will carry my cross for others daily.
I will carry my cross for others daily.
That includes people who hurt me. That includes people who took something from me. That includes people who make me feel bad. That includes people who annoy me. That includes people who don't deserve it. Because I don't deserve it. But Jesus gave it to me. We're done with the repeating now. Okay? I'm just keep talking. I didn't deserve Jesus to wash my feet, but he did. I don't deserve Jesus to carry his cross for my sake, but he does. I certainly don't deserve this mess in here to be the pekathronos, which, by the way, we're going to say in a little bit. Okay? Certainly don't deserve that. But he does. And then he leaves me with a command to do the same. I want to leave you all by reading the 9th hour Pauline epistle, which we just read a minute ago, which I think perfectly summarizes it. And I want you to hear this as a Jesus saying, I died. I died. I gave you everything I got. But here is what I want to leave you with. Let each of you look out not only for his own interests, but also for the interests of others. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, who being in the form of God, did not consider it robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, taking the form of a bondservant and coming in the likeness of men. Told you all before, I know that sentence is a little clunky. English-wise, it's clunky, but here's what it's trying to say, paraphrase. What it's saying is that Christ, who is God, didn't consider it robbery to become like one of us. We look at it and say, if you went from there to there, you got robbed. You got robbed. You traded that for this, you got robbed. He didn't consider it robbery because it was worth it for the sake of the people on the train. It was worth it for the sake of the person who hurt you. It was worth it for the sake of the person who betrayed you. Worth it for the sake of the person who annoys you. Worth it for the sake of the person who stabs you in the back. It was worth it for their sake, not just for your sake. It was worth it for their sake. He did not consider it robbery. Let this mind be in you, which was also in him. Did not consider it robbery. Took the form of a bondservant, coming in the likeness of men. Continues. And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself, as if that wasn't enough to be in appearance as a man. He humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even the death of the cross. Let me ask you a question. Jesus was obedient. Obedient to what? Obedient to what law? What was the law which Jesus was obedient to? What was it? One word. Love. That's the law. Wasn't obedient to some, like as if some, like he had to carry out orders, like he was like the Terminator guy who had a mission to accomplish and get back. No, Jesus was obedient to one law, and it was the law called love for every single person, because the sun doesn't decide who to shine on. Love just hits everybody in the face. Obedient to the point of death, even the death of the cross. Therefore, God has also highly exalted him and given him the name which is above every name, that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow, those in heaven, those on earth, those under the earth, and then every tongue should confess that Jesus Christ is the Lord, to the glory of God the Father. I want to leave you with this. You want a new life in Christ? You want a true Passover, a true Pascha. Pascha, we said, means resurrection. You want a new life? Then the new life, I'll tell you exactly how to get it. Love one another as he has loved us. If you walk out of here, walk out of Holy Week, and you say, that's the way, that's going to be the defining characteristic of my life from now on, that I'm going to aim to love everyone as Christ loved. And we're going to fall short. I'm not saying we're not going to fall short. We will fall short. But that's going to be the defining characteristic. No more will I say, I can't forgive them. I won't love them. I can't accept them. I'm going to walk as Christ walked in love. Then I promise you, you will have a new life. You will not go back to the old life. The old dead life, sick life, you will not go back. And again, I'm not saying you're going to be perfect. But what I'm saying is you will have a new life in Christ, because that is what the new life is. It's a life of love, a life of Christ-like submission to every single person. Glory be to God forever. Amen.